Hi, and welcome to another session of Gifts. This is God's Insight for the Soul. I am Bridget, and my lovely co host Lori and I created this space as an opportunity for two or three volunteers, willing participants to come join us. And you can ask a question, you can provide a situation that you'd like some insight on, or we can draw an angel card. And Lori and I love to spend time with that one benevolent power we call God. And in doing so, we tap into how he's communicating through us, and we share that as insight with all of you. The beautiful thing about how God works is whether you're the one asking the question or if you're an observer listening, or if you're even listening to this, like tuning in a year from now, if you're hearing the words, there is a message in this for you. And what we encourage you to do is to tap into your own intuition and ask yourself, how is God speaking to me today? And I think that's it. Anything else, Lori?
I don't think so. Except
All
for, I just realized I don't have my glasses. So when we get to that point, just pray that we have big letters.
right.
Or I will run downstairs and grab my glasses real quick, but I'm ready to get started.
Awesome. So, Sarah, let's get started.
Hello. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
We
Oh,
hear you.
okay. And
So do you
So,
want to
yes,
ask a
you.
question? Do you want to
pull
bring
a
up
card. I got
Okay.
too many things to even address, so just pull one.
Okay. I love it. So would you like deck A, B, or Gretchen?
Who's Gretchen?
Just a name to
Oh,
differentiate between pile A
B.
and B.
Oh, okay, B.
Okay. I think this is the one with the super small letters, but there's a lot of light
Sorry.
in here, so we'll see. No, not at all. Oh, this one just popped out, so let's do
Woo.
this. Okay, here is
Oh,
the
okay.
image on the card, and it says, Forgiveness will set you free. What do you need to forgive yourself for? And just give that a minute. Bridget, I feel like you're supposed to start whenever you're ready. So just give a minute of like silence in the space of just allowing God to speak.
There's an image on that card when Lori showed it to us, and it wasn't the focal point was like two dancers, but there is this image. It almost looked like a ram um uh, headbutting the moon is what I saw. And I was like, "Oh, you are so headstrong. You are so I'm gonna push through this because I have to. I am going to shove this out of my way." A- And that's been the pattern and the responsibility is the word that's coming up that you have been sitting in for so long, that you have to make this work and you have to move mountains in order for it to work. And then I kept getting this. So when Lori said, take a moment, and I kept getting, yeah, feel what forgiveness feels like in your body. Feel what it feels like in those spaces that you haven't forgive yourself forgiven yourself. Feel like what it feels like in those spaces that you just have to push through to push through. Where are you the toughest on yourself? And that is the invitation of where you're being invited to show yourself grace. Those areas that you're the toughest on you for being who you are, it's okay to say, and I love you for being that tough. And I love you for taking on the responsibility. And I love you for striving so hard and feeling like you have to do it all on your own. Those are the pieces that are calling for you to love you.
Okay.
So interesting, because when we're here to provide insight, right? Bridget and I have practiced a lot of sitting in the silence in order to hear God. But what's so beautiful about the way the energy works and the way the presence of God works is you sitting in the presence of Bridget and I practiced in sitting in the presence of God is the allowance for you to be in more presence of God, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not Bridget and Lori. It's Bridget and Lori were willing vessels to embody a greater presence of God, which then when you sit with us, you get to experience what Bridget and I have been practicing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so without a story, when you sat in silence for that moment in a greater availability of the presence and insight of God for yourself, what came up for you when you heard, what do I have to forgive myself for? Now, without the story, just what are you being called to forgive yourself for?
Trying to take it all on by myself.
Yeah. And that recognition, and now here's the where the forgiveness comes easier. You didn't do it on purpose. You didn't do it because you're an asshole. You didn't do it because you don't trust God. You didn't do it for any other reason, but that was the pattern that you were stuck in until the availability and opportunity for something new. And
Mm-hmm.
today is the availability and the opportunity for something new. Because the presence of God that you get to feel, the in the midst of sitting in the arrogance, bullheadedness, taking it on my own, blah, blah, blah. God's meeting you in this exact moment and saying, Ann, girl, yeah, I fucking love you. Right where you're at in the midst of your bullheaded, arrogant pride. I love you. So guess what? Now you can love you. Now you can love you. And the greater love meets us in the depths of what we think is wrong with us, the more magnified that love is.
Okay.
And you didn't do anything you did before this moment because you're a jerk. You just did everything you did before this moment because that was the pattern. And now the opportunity and the availability is new.
Mm-hmm.
And now you just step in it. You just get to step in it. That's the receiving of grace.
Okay. Right. Hit the nail on the head with that one. Yep.
That's awesome.
Good.
Yep.
So good.
Yeah.
Um, if I could just do one comment, in our
I will
energy.
warn you. I will warn you. just really quick. This is what I'm going to warn. But I love this example. I love what you are providing for us right this moment. Because typically what we do, and now again, this is just the pattern, because I'm still going to give you the opportunity, but this is what's so cool. Are you ready? We
Yeah.
get this. We get this. Here, would you like to step into this? And we go, that's so beautiful. Hold on. Because this is where I've been and this is what I'm going, right? And it's what Proverbs talks about when it talks about a dog returning to its vomit, right? We go back to what we just puked up and released and let go of, right? Why? Because this is more comfortable than actually receiving grace, than actually receiving forgiveness. So now, you may or may not be about to do that.
I'm
But
not.
here's what's so beautiful is if you do, I'm going to interrupt you and I'm going to go, nope, no vomit eating today.
Okay.
If you don't, and you're actually entering into more, then I'm going to be like, that was so cool that that came up for us to see this lesson. And yay. So go ahead.
Okay. In our last energy circle, I wrote the list. I had the 4 words that came up
Yes.
14 times, screaming in my head 4 words. The very first word was forgive. The very first word.
So good.
Beautiful.
And again, I love that I got to talk about what we typically do.
Mm-hmm.
And I want, if you're
No,
watching this,
when you said that word on the card, I'm like, yep. And I,
and I want, this is such a beautiful, again, everything is happening to reveal to us what's possible and available. And if you're watching this, even a year from now, I want you guys to feel that energy, because if you're watching this, you are somebody who can feel energy. If you're watching this, you're somebody who can receive what's going on. And the fact that we typically do go back to the vomit. And what did that feel like when she said that? It was the expansion. It was oh my gosh, back there, God already knew what was going to happen today, because that was
yep,
last Sunday. And God
yep,
already knew the card that was going to get pulled today. And
yep.
that allowance of God being that intimately involved with us.
And I've journaled about
Queen,
it all week. I've stayed on
queen.
that one word because that's the one I'm doing for the 4 a week, like Bridget had mentioned, because there's 14 lists or 14 4-letter, whatever they are, or 4-word things, trying to focus on um, one a day. Well, I'm still stuck on number one and the first one of number one. And
Yeah,
it's going good.
perfect.
So
Good.
It's
it's
all
hard.
good.
It's hard, but
Yeah.
staying with it for a reason because I'm not done with it yet. So
Queen. And the fact that you're willing to stay on the first set, on the first one, and not find any wrongness with, why can't I move forward? Why can't I? Right? That's the going back to the vomit. That's that feeling of heavy, and it should be
hmm
something different.
hmm
Right? I love it. You're amazing.
Good
thank you.
job.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay,
Feels
Bridget,
good.
what deck do you want? I'm moving them around.
Okay.
Do you want a uh, Gertrude or 99?
99.
All right. Heart chakra.
I feel like I pull this deck every time it's in the mix.
The answer that you seek is in your heart right now. Be open to giving and receiving love. And the thing that came up was, okay, Enfrey
Uh,
says we're 100% human, 100% spirit. Our human needs external cognitive information, father. Our subconscious needs internal, quiet, rested, settled, surrendered mother, right? And sometimes we ask a question and then we try to answer it from our cognitive ourself. And what is the availability in this is that sitting quiet, that knowing, wait, the answer is right here. I don't have to go find it, right? In this moment, sometimes we need the cognitive to be available, right? But right now, what's being called for is that you already have the answer here, but it's going to come really quiet. Yeah, see how you have to lean in to hear me? Because it's going to come in the stillness and the quiet. You have to lean in and you have to pay really close attention, right? Paying really close attention, leaning in, because it's going to come in the stillness, but it's already there. And that's the thing, it's already there. It's already there. Now it's just allowing it to present itself.
Mm. Mm. Just like I've always talked about, God's timing is not my human time, and to rest in that patience and, yeah, knowing.
And again, what a beautiful example that Sarah gave us with, okay, I was going to do 4 words for each
Mm,
day, and I actually only did 1 word for the last 4 days because that's what was being called for, right?
yeah.
All right, I'm mixing up the decks again. All right, A, B, or C. Sarah, you want to pick my deck?
I'm going B again.
All right. Freaking guess what I got, Bridget?
Heart chakra?
Nope.
Nope.
The same one I got, I think it was Monday.
Oh,
My
yeah.
twin flame. All right. The answer to your question, clearly, Bridget, we are in a season of asking a lot of questions. The answer to your question involves a spiritual, wait, in, okay, hold on, guys. The answer to your question involves a spiritually based romantic relationship. A spiritually based romantic relationship.
I find it so interesting that you just got done talking about the masculine inside of us, the father, the feminine inside of us, the mother, because what this spiritual relationship is all about, the feminine. And then you're getting ready to ride in the car with your physical earthly mother for a few days. And so I find that very interesting, how that feminine quiet, sitting, solitude, nurturing, comfort are all kind of coming that's what's coming up, is this sitting in quiet. And just like we just talked with Sarah, again, the first word that she wrote down out of her list of four, and she's still on that. And I know, yeah, I guess what I'm getting is like this, and that's okay. There's such an allowance in being quote unquote stuck in our business, stuck in even the role of who you think you are playing when it comes to relationships, physical relationships, the role of you as a daughter and how you think that plays out. Even in that, there is, what if you don't know what you don't know? And to sit quiet, because right in life, our relationships, our physical relationships can change. We can be, as a child, very dependent on our mother. And then as a teenager, very not dependent on our mother and wanting to do the exact opposite. And then in life, we become a parent ourselves and we see our mom in a different way. Maybe we have a struggle that we didn't know our mom had, or she shows us a side of her that we didn't know existed, and we see our mom in a different way. And that's the invitation that I keep getting, is this sit quiet, and the different role that you can now play, or the different experience to the similar role that is being offered.
Yeah, and I love that, again, it comes back to the role of the feminine
Mhm.
in the relationship with the masculine spiritual energy, right?
Mhm.
And I I don't feel like I had the availability to rest and surrender in the feminine energy spiritually. I took on a lot of the, Sarah, this might sound familiar. I'll take care of myself. I'll just get it done. I'll just push through. All that masculine energy. And what I'm hearing you is this invitation into that feminine energy of being taken care of
Mhm.
Mm.
and recognizing that God really will take care of me
Mhm.
spiritually and physically.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool.
I really love also, um so Sarah shared that she's been on one word for 4 days. You just pulled a card that you pulled earlier this week. I love how God uses things again and again, and is saying to us, it's okay. You don't have to get it right? We don't have to cognitively get it the first time. It is because he just wants us to sit with him. And so it's totally okay that you got the same card that you got just 3 days ago or 4 days ago. And Sarah, it's okay that you're on day four of the same word. We're just sitting in solitude, sitting in that loving, nurturing energy. It's totally okay that he wants to keep us there because he's dropping more into us. The longer we sit, the more we get filled with forgiveness. The longer we sit in feminine energy, the more we get filled with that feminine energy. Yeah, I love that.
Yes.
Yeah,
So good.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's super
So
good.
good. So
Wow.
good.
Whew.
Yeah. So good. Well, if this is so good and you want to come join us, we are eager to play with you. So please come and join us. Um, Sit in the hot seat, get some insight, get some love, get some pouring into. Bridget, anything else before we say goodbye till next time?
No, until next time, there is a calendar link in the comments. Lori and I do this 3 times a week. So just find a date on the calendar link that works for you, put it in your calendar, and then we'll meet you here.
All right.
Thank
See
you.
you next time.
Thank you, ladies. Bye-bye.
Bye.